This is a special presentation by Allegany Communications and Magic 100.5, WDYK-FM and HD1 Ridgely, an Allegany Communications station. We're proud to call this home. Live from Allegany College of Maryland, in the College Theater, the Allegany County Chamber of Commerce and Magic 100.5 presents the 2026 Primary Candidate Forums. Meet the candidates, hear the issues, make informed decisions. With candidate introductions, moderated questions, understand key issues impacting our community. This is the Cumberland Mayor Candidate Forum on Magic 100.5.
I'm Julie McCoy, President and CEO of the Chamber. This year, we're proud to have a panel of Chamber members who will present questions for the candidates. This evening, we welcome candidates for Mayor of the City of Cumberland, and there are a total of 4 candidates, including Ray Morris, Darrell Lee Powell, William Taccino, and Dana Tinnen. We've communicated with candidates, inviting them to attend and provided them with details, including time, place, and format, and questions were not shared in advance. Our questions are developed by the Chamber's Legislative Committee and members of our panel. All candidates will be given the same questions and have the same amount of time to answer, and will provide a 30-second notice as time is expiring, and will alternate between which candidate answers first. We will start with a 2-minute introduction by each candidate and wrap up with a 2-minute closing remark. Our panelists this evening are Stu Zapsky, Cumberland Economic Development Corporation, Trevor DeVore, Vice President, Business Banking Relationship Manager, M&T Bank, Ryan Dunn, Business Developer, Chessie Federal Credit Union, and Julie Westendorf, Chair of the Allegany County Chamber of Commerce. Also joining us this evening is Jeremy Irons, Chair of the Chamber's Legislative Committee, and he'll be assisting with timekeeping and rules. As a reminder, please silence your cell phones to help us with sound, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Good evening. As was noted, your opening will be 2 minutes each of you, and we'll start with Ray Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Zapsky. My name is Ray Morris, and I am currently the mayor of Cumberland, and I have been for the last 7.5 years. I too would like to thank the Chamber for holding this forum for all the candidates, 105 Allegany Communications and also Allegany College for allowing us to use their facility to get our message out to the voters. As most people probably know a little bit about me, I am a 4th-generation railroader. I came to Cumberland originally back in 1983. I was here from 1983 until 1990. And then I did what I refer to as the CSX World Tour. I went to Baltimore, Chicago, Louisville, Kentucky, Russell, Kentucky, Huntington, West Virginia, and then returned to Cumberland back in 2004. I retired from CSX back in 2017. And after retiring, I had always done volunteer work and done things in our community, but I wanted to do more. And I really looked at the city, and I believed I had a better vision for the way things could be. So I ran and have, like I say, I've been mayor for the last 7 years. Really looking forward to continuing what we have started. I think we've got a lot of things going in the right direction and want to continue with that. My wife and I live over on Camden Avenue, and we are really proud to be members of the Cumberland community. As I've always said, the most important part of our community is the people. So thank you once again, and look forward to the forum.
Thank you, Ray. Darrell Lee Powell.
Hello, I'm Darrell Lee Powell. Thank everybody for coming out, the radio station, the newspaper, all the folks in the audience. I see a city councilman up there as well. Thank all of y'all for coming out. I am a lifelong resident of Cumberland. I did leave on different occasions and came back. When I graduated from Fort Hill in 1978, there were nearly 50,000 people in this city. You didn't have to leave to find a job. We were the Queen City. And we need to get back to being the Queen City. Now, we're not going to get there by getting those jobs back that we lost. So we have to get really creative to get back to being the Queen City of Maryland, only second to Baltimore City. And we got a long way to go to do that. Like I said, I graduated from Fort Hill in '78. I went on to Frostburg State University, got my degree up there, graduated in '83. Did a lot of different jobs around here. Was a school teacher for 1 year. I did a lot of productions and commercial work with the then TCI Cablevision, and then went on to work at, well, before going to WHAG-TV, I was a DJ / technician with WTBO-KGO, and that was for free. It's learning. So I left there, and then I went to WHAG-TV. The one thing about WHAG-TV and doing that job, I got to meet a lot of people, work with a lot of people, and I learned that you have to treat everybody the same. Nobody's any better than anybody else. That goes for everybody in here. You're not better than me, and I'm not better than you. I work with millionaires and billionaires. One day, I was working with the homeless in the city of Cumberland. Then I went on to work with the average person. And then I went down outside of Paw Paw, West Virginia, and worked with President Bush #2. So I got to work with a lot of different people at a lot of different levels, governors, athletes, major stars, all of that. That's me.
Thank you, Darrell Lee. William Taccino?
Thank you everyone for hosting us here tonight. Gives us an opportunity to maybe get some answers and see how we can change Cumberland for the better. My name is William Taccino. I was born and raised and worked in Allegany County all my life. Cumberland resident for 34 years. Attended Mount Savage High School, Allegany Community College here. I worked for several local businesses and insurance companies over the years. Was employed and operated my own business in auto sales and service. Worked for the U.S. Postal Service for several years. And as many as you know, that involved in, long before filing my candidacy, trying to resolve problems and issues facing us, not only in government, but in big businesses, corporations, and whatever. And I will continue to fight not only for your rights and your tax dollars, but work together and with you to build a new clean city. We must build a new clean city in which all the people, not just some here, will be part of it, and not just their voice will be heard, but address the issues with the problems facing us, but they'll be able to make suggestions and ideas on how we can resolve the problems that we are facing. I mean, all must be part of a new work, a new form of government, putting the people of Cumberland, Maryland, USA first. Working and functioning as one unit of all the people, by all the people, and for all the people. So we pay government to work for all the people, not just work against the people. So your vote for me on election day will also be a vote for you in your new city and for what we can do in the future with our families and our future and our families both, and for positive results. We will share in the good and positive future of them results. Thank you, stay safe, and God bless.
Thank you, William. Dana Tinnen?
Good evening, everyone. I thank God for allowing me the opportunity to do His will. I 100% believe that I stand before you under God's protection and His direction. My name is Dana Tinnen. I have 2 decades of direct community involvement, helping thousands. I am the founder of Diversity Awareness TV, creator of The Boys Youth Talk Show, Cumberland Social, Cumberland Forward Facebook, The Blue Beat, Western Maryland Candidate Forum, and the Cumberland Christmas Smiles Project. Now is the time to cut our losses, bounce back, and refocusing the city's priorities. Doing what's in the best interest of both community and economic development. Mr. Ray Morris, you have failed. There's a large percentage of Cumberlanders who will appreciate this. You're fired. Trouble don't last always. Help is here. I'm Dana Tinnen, and I want to work for you and with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
This is a 2-minute question, and we'll start with Ray. The mayor's office sets the tone and direction for the city government. What is your overall vision for Cumberland, and what would be your defining initiative of your administration?
Our overall mission is absolutely to grow our city. You know, as everyone has realized, we have lost a great deal of population over the last decades. You know, the time is now to start to stem that tide and bring people back. But the overall vision, I truly believe, starts with what the people truly need. I look at what we've accomplished in the last 4 years with the revitalization of Baltimore Street. And I truly believe we've started to turn the corner and get our city headed in the right direction. My vision is for us to grow, for us to improve the quality of life of all of our residents, and to make this a place where everyone wants to live, work, play, raise their families. And I truly believe in the positive nature of the people in our community and see that as something that is very attainable going forward. We have a lot of work to do. We've started to turn the corner, but there still continues to be a tremendous amount of work to do to make this the place that people truly want to live and raise their families.
Thank you, Ray. Darrell Lee?
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. The mayor's office sets the tone and direction for city government. What is your overall vision for Cumberland, and what would be your defining initiative of your administration?
I think the overall mission and the defining mission, if I can make it happen, would be to change the form of government that we have. Right now, the the administrator is basically running the government. He is basically the legislative leader. And we need to change that to where the mayor and the council are the legislators and the leaders. And I think also we might need our council members to become commissioners and run a certain part, be ahead of a certain part of the government. That way we're all being held accountable for what the city needs. If the citizens have a problem with the roads, then they have a roads commissioner to go to. If they have a problem with taxes, they can go to the commissioners, and they can go the council member, and they can come to the mayor. That's one part I think we need to do. We need to make sure that all the citizens' constitutional rights are being followed and adhered to. That citizens have the right to protest, to be out in the streets in a legal, responsible way, non-violent way. And another thing I think we need to do, and it's been way, way overdue for the past 10, 20 years or so, is we need to bring Mark Twain to Cumberland. That'll help us get some new bodies in city who want to work downstate, who make it a lot of money and come up here and will take care of some of these houses that are all blight throughout our city. Mark Twain will go into Martinsburg, but it's not coming to Cumberland. It's a Maryland-run train, and it won't come to Cumberland. It goes to Martinsburg, and we need our economic development people to get on top of that. It's been over 10 years that it's been talked about. We haven't had anything come here or happen since Cass Taylor has left the state of Maryland in our legislative body. And we need that. And as just a part of it, I mean, housing. The city is paying thousands of dollars for this property that we own, the former Memorial Hospital, probably now the old Allegany campus, since we own that. We're paying thousands of dollars for grass to be cut.
Thank you, Darrell Lee. William?
Yes, my vision for the city of Cumberland is we have to build a new Queen City, Cumberland, Maryland, USA, because the current one in the past is a total failure. I mean, take economic development. Let's take the old Rolling Mills, the Gateway project. In 2019, there were supposed to be 5 new businesses, from a restaurants and motel, all this. And we spent millions of dollars on properties, lost thousands of dollars in tax revenue. And so far, all I see is 7 years later is 3 businesses up and running and the 4th one going up. And none of them's on even a motel or whatever. So we're out not only the money to purchase these properties, but the development of them. And then the developer, I understand, is from out of town, Frederick, Mr. Ed Scott and all. And they've evidently held things up or whatever. So this is a total loss here. I mean, of over the years. How many more years are we going to wait to get these things up and running? How many more millions of dollars are going to cost? How much more time? We need to bring in a whole new system, a whole new setup, bring in new different ideas, new different plans, new different dreams. I mean, things like, I know we can't bring back the factories or whatever, but why can't we bring back like some of the dairies and the bakeries and all that moved out of town because they can operate their business, more cost efficient, out of town instead of here. So we got a lot of new plans to do. We got to change everything the way it was and bring it back, all new ideas. I mean, because for the last 7 years, this has been very, very bad here. I mean, this is one of the many issues that we're faced with, and no answers. It's just we just keep spending time and money, and it's just not good. We got to rebuild everything and the whole new city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William. Dana?
I think I remember the question. I'll start by saying my mission would be to open the doors of City Hall to all. There's a seat at the table for everyone in this city. No one left behind. The mission is to be a top 10 city in the nation. I believe I can do that. With my vision, my hard work, rolling my sleeves up, and being in my office 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. I see Cumberland as being a city together. We're small. There are good people in this city. A lot of good people in this city. I am proud to be living here. I love it. But still, we have some work to do. We have lack of opportunities. There are a lack of opportunities here. I sit here, I told you who I am, and that's only half of it. And I can't land a job. Interview at City Hall, interview with private companies and everywhere. Stellar interviews. I know I knocked it out the box. But the opportunities are just not here. One person, you got 100 people for one job. I plan to build the work industry, the business industry. How do I do that? The first thing I do is I don't bring businesses here now and have them to leave a year later because we're not ready for them. The business industry, especially the downtown part, there's things missing. It's not friendly to 30 and under. The businesses downtown are going to struggle, and they're going to continue to struggle until we get the one business in that area that can support all the small businesses. And to give you an example, my thought is I would like to bring a Dave & Buster's here at Roses Plaza. Dave & Buster's as well as a Foreman Mills. It's hard to even find dress clothes in this area. You have to go to Kohl's and they don't have my sizes. So we need to work on things that will bring people from around the region into Cumberland.
Thank you. Next question, you'll have 2 minutes to respond. We're going to start with Darrell Lee. Downtown revitalization has required years of investment and coordination. How do you sustain that progress while reaching other areas of Cumberland to create tangible results for existing and new businesses?
Oh, first off, we should have never tore the street up in the first place, Baltimore Street. We should have kept it a two-way traffic with parking on both sides when I graduated high school. That was the biggest mistake way back then. Now we can drive up and down it, but you really can't park on it. We have a hotel going in. Hopefully it does well. But where is parking going to be for folks who are staying at the hotel? I'm assuming they're going to be having valet parkers, drivers to park. But it's all needed and it's all good. I like what's happening down there. But we should have never tore that up in the first place. Never. But it is what it is, and that's where it's at. I think we need to do more with our historic aspects of downtown. We have the railroad going through downtown. We have the Taccino Canal in downtown. And we have the first federal highway built in the United States going through part of downtown. We need to do our history, get more active in our history, and promote our real transportation history, which we don't. We do our history, but the main thing we see about history right now is the train. Let's get the Taccino Canal, that portion, watered and back open. Let's get the river opened up to where people can use it downtown. A lot of that's going to be dealing with the federal government. And I don't know much about this, taking this, the dam out. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, there is some activity going on with that. That's all a part of downtown and bringing some people downtown. But I think taking that dam out might be a problem because all the activity we can do on that river is above that dam going towards the old Kelly and going towards the YMCA. That's where most of that water is at. We take that dam out, I think we might be having a problem with keeping water and making it active for us to utilize that river, which we don't utilize, not at all, and we need to. I think we need to. As far as downtown, getting as many businesses as we can down there, I'm not really sure. I can't answer that question.
Thank you, Darrell. William?
Yes, one of the first things for downtown development is definitely, it's like anything else, we need more business. Now, I made a suggestion, and I put it on Facebook, the city and county should go together and purchase the Old Times News property, since it's right near the scenic railroad and the museum. That should be purchased and put it like a classic and antique car museum in the bottom. The top, bring in things from all over the county, like the first iron rails in Mount Savage. I have literature and all this, the steam engines, everything about history, and then still print off, mind you, from the same place, all the literature and pamphlets and whatever, and get it all known throughout the America. The Cumberland, Mayoral, USA. We're going to have a new Queen City here. So we bring in more business, more tourism. That'll work together with, that's just one issue on tourism, one idea. I mean, and then that'll create more parking downtown because, there's really short of parking down there, as you know. So, I mean, there's a lot of ideas that we can do to help the businesses that's already here. I mean, make them better. I mean, that's one of the things I'd have, to do to start with. And of course, bringing in more different other businesses. But I think the people here first, we should be bringing and promoting the businesses that's already here and looking for people here to, start new business instead of out-of-town people. I think they should, instead of us paying them to come here and give them tax breaks, let's take care of our people here first. So that's what I have on that issue.
Thank you, William.
Thank you.
Dana?
Yes, can you repeat the question for me, please?
Downtown revitalization has required years of investment and coordination. How do you sustain that progress while reaching other areas of Cumberland to create tangible results for existing and new businesses?
Well, you get the people involved. You have to have everyone involved. The businesses, the business owners, the customers, officials, people that work in the city. Everyone has to be involved. There has to be an effort of with one common goal, and that common goal is to make Cumberland better. To sustain. Let me just give you a brief short. I'm not going to beat around the bush. We got a major problem here. The businesses, again, are not going to survive unless we have a business that comes in and support the small businesses, where people from around the region will come to a Dave & Buster's, and they will venture off into downtown, and the downtown businesses will get the traffic. We need a clothing store, a big major clothing store, maybe a Foreman Mills or something, where people can go shop for clothing and all the essentials that they need. Those two things will bring people throughout this region to Cumberland. But that will not work either until we solve the major problem. The major problem that no one is talking about is transportation. You can have all the businesses in the world. If we can't get there, we can't spend our money. Transportation is a major issue, and I'm going to work my butt off to make sure we got transportation here in Cumberland. I don't know why we haven't reached out to Washington, D.C. They just closed their circulator bus line. They got 100 buses that they have nothing to do with. We're their neighbors. I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to ask how much is one of those buses. Can you give it to us at a reduced price, maybe $10,000 for the bus? That would be 1/3 of our problem solved. Then we'll go through the studies and get the routes and things done. But we gotta start seriously thinking about transportation. And I'm not talking about the county. I'm talking about Cumberland. I don't care what the county does. If the county says no, Cumberland will do it.
Thank you, Dana. Ray.
Thank you. We're talking about the downtown redevelopment. I think that is a perfect example of why it's so important to start with your local business, downtown business district.
when you look at what has happened in the last few years since that construction started, there's almost 30 new businesses downtown. That translates to over 200 employees that are now working in our downtown stores and our downtown restaurants, and as they pointed out, a soon-to-be boutique hotel with the Wills Hotel. Just so you all know that if the Wills Hotel has already leased parking spaces on the Frederick Street garage for their valets and also for their guests, so their parking is taken care of. When people talk about a lack of parking, please understand that the Center City garage is only 30% occupied. There's plenty of downtown parking. You might have to walk a block, but I don't think that that's that big of a challenge for people to walk one block to get to what I believe are really good restaurants and really good shops. So the downtown is a great place to start, but where do we go from there? That's actually the point of this whole question, is where do we go from here? I look at what we've started over on the Virginia Avenue corridor and what we're trying there, but the same type of facade program that we did on Baltimore Street and Center and Liberty Street, we're trying to create that type of environment over on Virginia Avenue. So it's a different animal. It's not going to be, quite frankly, as easy as it worked out on Baltimore Street. But we can figure out ways to work with those property owners to make those same changes and revitalize what I call our second Main Street and work on the neighborhoods in South End. I think that's where we go next. Obviously, we continue with the River Park downtown. We have lots of work to do to continue downtown, but we will work on other parts of our city.
Gentlemen, thank you to each of you for participating in the forum tonight. Over the years, Cumberland's population has considerably declined, as has its tax base, and this presents real challenges for communities like ours. So if elected mayor, what is your approach to growing the city's revenue stream while keeping the cost of living and doing business manageable? This is a 2-minute question, and we'll begin with Mr. Taccino.
Thank you. Well, the first thing is new ideas, new plans, new dreams, because this is 2026, not 1926. Now, my ideas would be, number one, I know we can't bring in back what we had before when we had that larger number of population. So we're going to have to, change how we do things. And number one, I would be bringing in conjunction with the college, I'd like to bring in Research and Development Center, in which through grants, even private sector or government, we pay people to come in as a trade, like we had back in the 60s and 70s. And also, any ideas or inventions or whatever in products, maybe we can make them right here. And then the second thing, we could work with the hospital, like a medical center, where on-hands training, we actually pay people to come here to to learn maybe different things. Maybe we can find a cure for cancer or something. And third thing, I don't see why, and I've talked to some people, I have some friends in the industry, I mean, why can't we make films and all here? Different things. I mean, we have a lot of talented people here, and I have some people that's really interested in doing that, making some films here, right here in Cumberland. I mean, bring in something different. I mean, this is 2026, not 1926. The old ways didn't work. But even so, why can't we bring back people still buying dairy products and bread and all? Why don't we have, some bakeries and, some dairies and all up and running here that we lost? So we need to, we need to redo everything. New ideas, new plans, and new dreams. And for everybody, not just, certain ones. Certainly, real quick, I would be open up the airport for commuter flight service so people don't have to drive, 200 miles to the airport. We'd bring in bus transportation again. So we're going to be needing it as the city grows. We're going to need more transportation. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Tinnen?
Yes, thank you. Can you repeat the question for me?
Certainly. Cumberland's tax base and population have both been under pressure in recent years. What is your approach to growing the city's revenue streams while keeping the cost of living and doing business manageable?
Thank you for that question. My plan for the city and my vision is not a single plan or a single matter. It's a wraparound solution. So to try to give you briefly give you what my thoughts would be, taking care of the people. When you take care of the people, others will come. That's one. Two, housing. We're building housing. I can't even say I don't know what they did over there on the back with the house with no windows and no back, but we have to make sure that we're building houses according to the AMI of Cumberland, not the region and not the county. That will lower the cost of housing right there. That will bring more people into the city. My thoughts on how to build the tax base is this. We have a lot of houses and homes that are abandoned. As mayor, I'm going to give those owners that live outside of this county, I'll have to get with the attorney, but I'm going to give them the minimum that I can possibly give them before I take the homes. We got to get rid of them. And when I take the homes, eminent domain them, or however I can do it, when I talk to the legal counsel, I want to fill those homes. I want to control this population. People are going to come from everywhere. We're seeing that now. But what I want to do is make sure that we have positive citizens here in Cumberland. So these houses, my plan would be to give the houses away. I've been in contact with Tunnel for Towers, Wounded Warriors. Let's give these houses away and get a firm, stable tax base of positive citizens here, and not just let's come on in. We have a great city. We have an agent city, a calm city, and I want to keep it that way, but I also want to help make sure that we provide the services to all the citizens in the city. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Morris?
Thank you, Julie. I think when it comes to raising the tax base, again, this is something that has begun. When you look at what was done with Baltimore Street and the money that was put into that, as everybody talks about how $17.2 million was spent on the Baltimore Street Access Project, with the understanding that only about $3 million of that came from the city of Cumberland. The rest of it was stacked funding from the feds and the state. Some great work by Matt Miller and the CEDC on working on those funding opportunities. But there's been over $30 million worth of investment in our downtown from the private sector. And that's how you raise your tax base, is by having that private sector investment on your properties. You look at when it comes to housing, and you look at the Allegany High School site, you look at the Mayoral High School site, it's good to see D.R. Horton and the work that the county have been doing over there. I look forward to them actually breaking ground on some houses soon. I know the CEDC has been working with a developer on a plan for the Memorial Hospital site, and hopefully with that developer there can be something that comes to fruition there. When we did the housing study a few years ago, what we found was that all levels of housing needed to be completed within our city. In a lot of ways, we have affordable housing, but what we need is market-based housing for people that need to come to Cumberland for the jobs that are available for them, for the employers in our area, whether it be the hospital, whether it be Northrop Grumman, or some of the other companies that have come in. But that's the key to it. When people say that the rolling mill has been a failure, I look at the development that's going to be over there now, and I look at when the Royal Farms is completed this year and what that adds to the tax base. Long time coming. Difficult way to do it when you don't use eminent domain and you have to get over 60-some properties. But that's what it takes. It takes people working together to do those type of activities to raise your tax base. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Powell, do you need the question repeated?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Sure.
There's a lot going on there.
That's okay. Cumberland's tax base and population have both been under pressure in recent years. If elected mayor, what is your approach to growing the city's revenue streams while keeping the cost of living and doing business manageable?
Well, let me say this. As a former city employee who worked as the director of the Human Relations Commission, quasi-fair housing specialist, but director of the Human Relations Commission, who was a code enforcement officer, who also managed the Memorial Hospital site before it was torn down. It's been over almost 10 years since that site was supposed to be having housing or something built on it planned, and it hasn't happened. We're spending thousands of dollars to have that grass cut every year by a third-party person. As far as getting new housing and stuff here, the city's going to have to strengthen its codes for housing. We have people buying our houses that are for sale that the city owns, and we're cutting that grass as well, costing us money, and they're not doing anything with them. We need to put teeth in our codes to where if somebody's going to buy these for tax sale houses, they need to be made to make sure that they revamp them and get them back on the tax rolls. They're buying them and they're letting them sit there. We need more code enforcement on that to make sure that that happens. And yes, we need a lot more housing. We need mixed-use housing, where you're going to have the lower income and the middle income and maybe the higher income. That could be a perfect spot up there to where Memorial Hospital is. We got to have it. Big part of this city is below the poverty level. Live at below the poverty level. We can't build $200,000, $300,000 houses and expect that they're going to live in them, because they're not, because they can't afford them. And who's going to rent to them? Because they can't afford them. It's just not going to work. Now I'm lost in my mind there, but anyway, transportation. We're talking about transportation. We need more transportation. We need to have our health provide a scholarship for our health providers so they don't leave. They go out to get a college education to be a health provider. They can't afford to stay here and be that person.
Thank you, Darrell Lee. Next question is 2 minutes, and we'll go to Dana Tinnen first. Blight removal and neighborhood stabilization require more than grant funding. What partnerships, whether with the county, private investors, or nonprofits, would you prioritize to accelerate results? Dana?
Can you repeat that question again?
Blight removal and neighborhood stabilization require more than grant funding. What partnerships, whether with the county, private investors, or nonprofits, would you prioritize to accelerate results?
As I said before, I will be looking at Tunnel for Towers, Wounded Warriors, and any other organizations and companies that will be that are proven. I've also that question is repeat that again, because it seems like it's a two-part question. Three-part.
Actually, the first part's a statement. Statement is blight removal and neighborhood stabilization require more than grant funding.
Okay.
The question is, what partnerships, whether with the county, private investors, or nonprofits, would you prioritize to accelerate results?
Well, I'm going to prioritize all of them. I want to work with anybody and everybody who can help Cumberland. It doesn't matter who you are, but my focus will be on the people. So whatever I do, it will be geared towards what the people want. I'm going to be actively in the communities. I will be actively doing a mayor's briefing bi-weekly or whatever, so I'm going to know what the community wants. I'm going to walk the community. I'm going to open the doors of City Hall to bring them in my office to talk to me. So I'm willing to partner with anyone. I'm not. If Cumberland can benefit from you, then we can work together. Bottom line.
Thank you, Dana. Ray Morris.
Thank you. Back in 2019, when I first took office, we had a monthly meeting, and just like Mr. Zabsky said, it was simply about blight removal. But it's more than just blight removal. Although we had, I think the West Virginia study at that time showed over 500 blighted properties in the city of Cumberland. But it's not about blight removal alone. It's about the neighborhood revitalization. So what we did was we took a lot of those houses that had been demoed and we sold the lots. We sold a lot of those lots. A lot of them were small lots. They were good lots for people to use for an adjacent lot, for a side yard, for a garage, an area for their kids to play. But it also put those lots back onto our tax base. So that was our start with it. We've got properties that are developable properties within the city. We tried with a developer out of the D.C. area to work on some of those properties. We weren't as successful as we wanted to be. We got 2 duplexes over on Arch Street, but unfortunately that developer hasn't been able to continue. But we will continue to work with the city with the strategic demolition funds that we get. Sounds like strategic demolition funds is all about just simply tearing down houses. It's much more than that. But we'll continue to work with the county on strategic demolition funds. We'll continue to work with organizations like Habitat for Humanity on building homes in the neighborhoods to make good affordable housing with people that are willing to put in some sweat equity. So all of those things are on the table as we move forward to increase housing for our low income and to improve our neighborhoods.
Thank you, Ray. Darrell Lee Powell?
Yes, please repeat the question.
Blight removal and neighborhood stabilization require more than grant funding. What partnerships, whether with the county, private investors, or nonprofits, would you prioritize to accelerate results?
I would have to say all of those that you mentioned, and then some. In the community, I don't know if the city still has all of its neighborhood organizations where they get together and the people are in the neighborhoods taking care of their neighborhoods, planning for their neighborhoods, doing trash pickup, bulk trash pickup, because the city stopped all that too. Another thing that I think we need to do is, I don't know if the city is still giving people $20,000 to move into the city. Why can't we take that $20,000 and give it to seniors who can no longer take care of their property and have their property built up and put back and keep it on the tax rolls so that when they leave, the houses are ready to be sold and don't become blight. We also need to strengthen our code laws as far as blight, as far as people buying these houses that are blight. We need to strengthen the code so that if they come in and they buy these properties, they are made to do something with them, not leave them sit there and remain blight. When I left the city and they wrote me off the tax roll off the rolls and I lost my job as a code enforcement officer, there are still buildings 10 years later, still facilities, nasty, 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 sitting there waiting to be demolished, and they're still sitting there, but nothing has been done with them at all. It's the government's problem. We need to strengthen our codes to make sure that they do it. Down in Hagerstown, if they send out a code enforcement officer to somebody's house, they don't give them 2, 3, 4, 5 years to do anything. They start taxing them or fining them immediately. You go to Hagerstown, you don't see the blight like you see in Cumberland. And we need to get the state to give us more money, like they did Baltimore for all the blight that they gave them money to clean up, and we didn't get it because we got hit just as hard as Baltimore did when we lost all of our businesses back in the early 80s.
Thank you, Darrell Lee. William?
Well, that's a good question, several of them. Well, I'll say this, what's good for the goose, good for the gander, because the city itself has a lot of blighted properties. They won't abate a lot of nuisances. I know right across the street from where I live, dead trees, jungle growed up. Most of all, the state labeled my home a hotspot because of the city's illegal sewer system. So I'm stuck up there, and the property gets flooded out, mudded out, and stunk out, and I can't do nothing with it. I mean, I can't sell it. I can't do anything with it. I mean, I'm just sitting. The city needs to, first of all, take care of its own. Being in compliance with its own code before we look at anybody else's. And then after that, the people that, like I was saying, if they get cited for, blight or high weeds or whatever, we need to work with them to see, why they can't come into compliance. And maybe there's possibly state grants, federal grants or whatever, to better their properties, to start with. Anyone should lose their home is because if somebody really don't want to, or if it's in so bad a shape that they don't even care about it. But so we got to, first of all, we got to start start right in City Hall by the codes that we have, in effect, and we got to make them for everybody. I know one thing. I become mayor, we're going to have what do you call it, an under mayor or a second, under mayor or vice mayor, and they'll be in charge of answering all complaints with the people and working with them I mean, it'll be a constant thing, either on the phone or online. We're going to get people involved. We're going to get not only find the problems, but we're going to find answers to make them work for everybody. And I think that's one thing we need to do. Government must function together, working for the people, not against the people, as it's been doing here in this city for many years.
Thank you, William.